future. We're talking real money.
Now, we know something very interesting about our market, about our listeners, about you. We know that almost no of you... No, I'm going to do that again.
Know of you.
It was good until I overhyped it, and then, of course, I blew it up. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Don. Tom's over there, and, we know something about our audience that is very interesting. We know that almost none of you, unless being forced to do so by your parents or grandparents, in Tom's case, are listening to our podcast of your own volition. This is not a teenage podcast. Teenagers don't listen to old fogies on the radio or on the car.
Wait a minute. I know I have a teenage fan. She's still out there. She tells me she listens, and her message always is, tell Don to talk less and let you talk more. So anyway.
It's your daughter's friend.
Yeah, I know, but
so
that's how she found the podcast, but she still listens.
Is this Edwina Haskell?
Edwina Haskell. Great reference, but no.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I love your parents. Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, we know because, it's not fun for kids. They generally don't have any money, but that may be changing. And by the way, we are big fans of you, the slightly wiser parent, investing for them, setting up Roth IRAs if they have a job, putting money in custodial accounts, or 529s, even better. We think those things are great. But think back. Just go back in time with me for a minute. You're 16 years old. Remember being 16, Tom?
I remember getting my driver's license at 16. That's probably everything I remember that year. Yeah.
If your parents were still around to ask, and we asked them, they would tell me that you were a bloody know-it-all at 16.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You knew more than anybody else, more than your parents, certainly more than your teachers. You had it down. You knew life. You didn't need any experience. I don't need no stinking experience. I am 16 and I am proud of it. But we now know, looking back, that we were idiots. We were idiots.
We didn't know much about anything.
But apparently, the idiots are trying, at least, to run the financial asylum.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the headline here, and this is from the Wall Street Journal, these teenagers know more about investing than you do. Now, I know they're not talking to us.
They better not be.
They're not talking to us. I get that.
Offended.
That would be deeply hurtful. But they are talking about you in the podcast audience because they're saying, they study stocks. Yeah. And they listen to people online that really know a lot about this. Those influencers, they're some pretty smart people. And not to pick on minors, but one of them, Sofia Castablanco.
Well, she was just highlighted in the article.
Yeah, she puts herself out there, and I went online and watched some of her videos. She actually talks at about 200 words a second.
She
something
does
like that.
talk
Maybe
it's as if she's trying to get an entire life into 3 days.
Well, and maybe that's how fast people can listen when they're teenage years. And it, according to a new Fidelity study, they quote here in the journal, they claim, I think this is way high, 25% of teenagers have investments. That sounds very high to me, but maybe they take in everything.
I was going to say, they may take in 529s.
That's all great, because we want people to save, no doubt. We want people to invest, but we don't want them to invest the way these teenagers who know more about investing than you do are telling you to. Because if you read the article, guess what? Sophia says, I've got 3 great stocks, Tesla, Amazon, and Apple. That sounds a lot like other people I talk to as well that are kind of in those really great stocks that just have driven the market up. By the way, Sophia also has 3 accounts that have been set up by her father, Charles Schwab, Edward Jones, and Robinhood. I have no idea why you'd have 3 custodians at age
There's absolutely
17.
Zero reason.
None whatsoever.
And the only one I would probably have would be the Schwab one.
Yeah, which you can do everything for. You can do it with ETFs at no cost or stocks at no cost. But then I did go online and watch one of her videos because I was curious. Okay, and it was recent 3-day weekend, a little more time than I probably wouldn't have had normally. So, but I watched, and she had a little video on investing, and in it, despite what she says in this article, she said, I really think most people should use index funds like Berkshire Hathaway, which, as you may know, is not an index fund. Not an index
her
fund.
lack of knowledge.
Yeah. And then she held up a book and said, this is a good read that everybody should read, a book by Robert Kiyosaki, which no one, frankly, should read. I mean, you read the book and you still have no idea what he's telling you to do because there isn't a path to doing anything. Okay, all right, we can pick on her with that, et cetera, et cetera.
See, I don't want to pick on Sophia. I want to pick on the concept. And one of your duties as a parent or a grandparent who is putting money away for your child. Now, there are only a couple of ways to do it. If they don't have earned income, there are really only two ways for a minor to have some sort of an account that is being saved on that's invested on their behalf. That is through a UGMA/UTMA, Uniform Gift to Minors account, or Uniform Transfer to Minors account, depending on the state in which you live, and the 529 education account that can be turned into a Roth IRA later for anyone. So you've got those two options. And the thing about both of those options is that they require you, the adult, to be in charge. Unless the money you put into this custodial account for your kid is play money that you don't care about them having when they're adults, you really have an obligation to educate them on what investing is versus gambling. And
let me give you a couple of numbers that might help you believe that the smarter thing is to buy an index fund and leave it. Because in the article they point out, and you've done this time many times, Don, on the podcast, says setting aside $10 a week for a child at birth, right? So that sounds like $40 a month, right? Mm-hmm. 500 and something a year, would leave an 18-year-old with roughly a $20,000 nest egg, assuming an 8% annual return, which you won't get if you buy individual stocks because they may go off the charts. I'm saying they might go off the charts, but they might not. So I'd rather have you see an index fund, which again, no guarantee in those 18 years are going to make 8%, but more likely. And by the way, if you left that $20,000 to age 70, again, assuming the 8%, that would be a cool $1 million at age 70. So what a head start you would give them at just the $500 a year. So that is smart. Saving for a child absolutely makes total amount of sense. But this article is painful because, again, it's kids giving kids advice, which I know you're going to listen to them. Like you said, they're not going to listen to us because we're old fogies. But basically, the entire article is filled with the stocks that there's nothing new here. Apple, Alphabet, Disney, Netflix, they're all behemoth companies that people have piled into the last few years. And here's another quote that it just drives me crazy. They're claiming that 2/3 of Gen Z investors say they started learning about investing in high school or middle school. Now, again, I don't believe that because I don't know where that advice would come from. But I do know if there's any advice there, it's generally from somebody in the insurance or brokerage industry that comes in and says, let's do a stock picking contest. Let's show you how markets really work. Because if you bought Apple in 1987 and you rode it all the way up, great. But those examples are very few and far between. So I struggle with all of this advice, Don. I don't think, again, love the saving, love the fact that young people are investing. By the way, I took the liberty of looking up my 16-year-old daughter's portfolio. She's in 2 index funds in her Roth and her taxable. VT is one of them, and then AVGE is the other. AVGE. One in her Roth and one in her taxable account. And that's it. And guess what? She kind of knows somebody, lives with somebody that probably could tell her, do this, try this, etc. But what I'm telling her is
no. If that's you, no, you can't.
I know. I could. You
can't.
Give her good reasons why.
But you can't.
I know. You're right. So ignore the influencers, save money, stash it away, put it away for the kids, keep it simple, and quit messing around with this stuff. And Wall Street Journal, why are you writing these articles? What's the point of this? What are you trying to tell people? What's the message here?
There is no message.
Yeah,
there is no
really
message. But I played with your numbers a little bit. Now, I would guess that most of us could afford to or get the family to set up some sort of a gift to the kid when they're born. I love the idea. They're born.
Yep.
Okay. $10. The family pitches in total $10. 10 people, $1 a month. They do $10 a month in aggregate every single month until the child turns 70 years old.
Oh, till they turn 70.
Right. You get the whole family to keep doing it.
I see.
Okay. You set up some sort of a thing.
Get some old relatives there or something.
Well, but then the younger ones they're doing it for each other. They're just setting up, like it's paying it forward. So all right. So we do $10 a month. We do it for 70 years. And we make just what the market has made on average since 1926, which according to DFA is about 10% per year.
Healthier than the 8 I gave you, but sure, why not?
Because remember, this is money.
It's no Jim Cramer, it's no Dave Ramsey, but
we can of course afford to take the risks of the stock market because this is $10 a month.
Little bit of money.
This would be if a family could set this up among each other, just paying it forward. You do that. $1.3 million at age 70.
Wow, which is 30% more than what I gave you.
That is $10 a month.
So it's huge.
You've only put in you know how much money you put in over that time? $8,410.
Wow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, thought that was interesting. Do you have questions?
I think that's good. Well, I just want to make sure we close out.
Do you have another point to make?
It's not my point. It is
too.
Point.
You're saying it.
It's the point because I don't want to discourage people. This is part of the problem that if you come out and you say these things, then people think, well, then I'm not going to do anything for my kid. And I don't want my kid paying attention to anything. And they shouldn't. The problem for a young person
is the $10 a month.
I know, but then where do they get the advice? If you really want somebody who's 15 or 16 to understand investing, where do they go for that? Now, we jokingly referred to my young fan. I'll say hi to Maya because she is a very young fan and she's a good one. But the point of the matter is she's rare.
Encourage her to say nice things about you and mean things about me.
I need all the friends I
by
can
saying,
get.
Hi, Maya.
My list of enemies is long and distinguished. So,
hi, Maya. Don here.
She's going to say, tell Don to be quiet. But the thing is, I don't want to discourage anybody from investing because it's good. I just want you to encourage you to do it better. And it's such a massive decision at age 0 through age 70. I mean, think about that. If you make a mistake with one stock, blow the whole thing up. Don't want to do that.
But if you take that $10 a month, you hold it for however many months it takes to get to one share of an ETF, you buy one share of VT, you can't lose it all.
No.
You cannot lose it all. Well, you can, but that would be an episode of Walking Dead.
Well, it'd be an episode of us not being here, too.
Or The Last of Us. Attacked by a humanoid fungus. Weirdest stuff.
Let's leave that.
Anyway,
all right. Questions. Yeah. Questions. This comes from Andrew in North Bend, Washington. Andrew says, I wonder if you would do a deep dive on asset location in one of your future episodes. I've heard you mention it 3 or 4 times in months I've been listening, but very briefly and generally. I have had some reading from an advisor, but I'm wrestling with it. And then he's added, does asset location, still matter if everything is in exchange traded funds? Yes, is the answer to that. That's an easy one.
Yeah, but they're really,
the
concept's not that deep.
There really isn't that much to know. And let's just simplify it.
Well, he doesn't want you to simplify it. He wants you to not simplify it.
Okay, let's do the deep dive. Let's do the deep dive.
I don't know what the deep dive is, but go ahead.
Neither do I. Well, okay, the deep dive is, it makes sense in a general way, again, because we don't know you, to hold your fixed income or interest investments like fixed income, like REITs, in qualified accounts like IRAs, 401ks. Why? Because when you hold them in other accounts, you could pay tax on all of that interest that's coming to you, right? That's no brainer. Then on the other side of the equation is holding your riskier assets in a Roth account, because there you're getting in ETFs in a Roth account because you're getting tax-free growth.
Oh, wait, you said it differently than I thought you were going to say. Okay.
Okay.
On. All right. So we're putting our bonds in a
qualified
IRA.
Yep.
Qualified plan.
401k or IRA. Yep.
But wait a minute. What about our taxable account?
Well, I was just getting to that. I mean, generally,
Isn't that where
again,
your aggressive stuff should be?
not as aggressive as the Roth because the Roth gets tax-free growth.
Oh, okay.
You want those to grow the fastest. So that could be, and he mentioned it, that could be an AVUV, which is the Avantis Small Cap Value Fund, right? It could be funds like that are very aggressive, and you would hope that they would do better than Don's 10% or my 8%. You had to up me on that, didn't you?
Of course.
And so that, and then in the taxable account, again, primarily going to be stocks, but that could be the more developed markets, large US, sort of growthy things, and the value aspect could be in the Roth. That kind of thing. Is that a deep enough dive? I don't know.
Honestly, I don't think you can make a deeper dive. I guess you could if you want to overthink it. But that's one of our problems, I think, as people who are interested in investing, is that we think because it sounds complicated, it should require more thought and consideration and complication, when in fact it's pretty simple.
Save something, invest something, keep your costs low, and pay attention to taxes. And that's kind of paying attention to taxes. That's what we're saying there.
Yeah.
Right, with asset location.
Right, because asset location is really only about taxes.
It really is.
And by the way, taxes are only a small part of the process.
And they get sometimes too big of a headline.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a problem.
The fees, in most cases, when you're dealing with the differences between what brokers sell, the commission, the high fee products, and the index or the less active things, those fees end up being a much bigger bite out of your pie than the taxes except for income generating investments.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. Okay, that's a good one. Steve writes us from Roseville, California. He said, I listened to Don back in the 80s. Now, is that the 1980s or the 1880s? I couldn't remember.
Stale.
Was pleasantly surprised.
It's a stale joke.
Still works.
No, it doesn't. It stopped working in the early 20th century.
The early 90s. I was pleasantly surprised when I found him again a couple of years ago. Thank you, Steve, for finding us. This is right up the same alley. He said, let's talk about the tax efficiency of exchange traded funds. That would be true in a non-retirement account, but I don't think that's true for my IRA.
Right. It isn't.
That's true. It doesn't matter in your IRA.
It doesn't matter in your
tax
IRA.
Efficiency. The only reason you'd ever want to use
is taxed.
The only reason you want to use an ETF there if the expense ratio was lower, which in many cases it could be.
Probably will be.
Probably will be. Then when he said, when I did my research on exchange traded funds, I found you can't set up regular monthly distributions. You can't make automatic investments or withdrawals in and out of ETFs. The reason you can't because it's a share thing.
Right, because they're basically shares of stock.
Yep.
However, most of the major custodians have a program whereby you can set up automatic liquidation and fund a sweep account that can be attached to checking, which can be spent. So yes, they're missing that, but that's one of the big reasons why the fees are lower. Because a mutual fund custodian has more in the way of services they must offer. The mutual fund company has to make these transactions happen in-house. It's not happening on a market. And they've got reporting requirements that exceed those of ETFs. And they have all these other reinvestment things that they have to do in-house. So this shoves some of those chores off to the brokerage firm and makes it a little less convenient. If you want that convenience, then go get the fund. But I don't think it's worth it.
Well, no, I don't think it's worth it. And I also think it's a relatively small problem.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not that big a deal. It's on the edges. In other words, you could basically, I'm putting $500 in. That should be this, and this, basically. That's the only thing, by the way, standing between ETFs and your 401k is once they sort of solve this, if they do, you'd be able to use them there.
They'll solve that, I believe, eventually at the custodial level. When they start allowing some of these features to be done by the ETF custodian.
I agree.
But and it still goes back to my point. ETFs are going to win this battle.
And
I truly believe that.
Mutual funds going the way of the dodo bird and the dinosaur.
Well, no, they're going to go the way of unit investment trusts.
Oh yeah, so much money's invested in those today.
Those were big in the 20s. and closed-end mutual funds.
Right.
They were hot.
Yeah.
They were
so were buggy whips, right?
In the 20s,
cars without,
they were pretty much done.
Belts.
Won't their pants fall off?
Safety belts. Anyway, you get seatbelts, that kind of. Lots of things that come along and then don't work anymore. That's all. So those, they still work, but not as well. It's just not as efficient.
All right. Whatever.
Is that good enough?
I don't care.
Your operative word of the year is
no. What? That was my word. Instead of a New Year's resolution, Tom suggested a word.
I didn't suggest that's what everybody's supposed to do in 2024.
It was, you read something to me.
Yeah, I did.
And I went, God, I know my word. Absolutely know my word.
How's it working out, by the way?
It's working out
a couple months into the year.
It's working out great.
You're smiling more.
I do it all the time. Now my wife goes, would you?
What?
No.
Nope.
No. But would you? No. No.
I think it's brilliant.
Done that. Been there, done that. No.
Yeah.
I turned out and I see a, because I do some part-time voice work. So every once in a while I'll see a voiceover job and I'll go, boring. Nope.
Next.
Nope. I don't need the money. I'm doing it for fun. So I get to say nope.
That's kind of a nice place to be in your life when you can say no.
Well, I'm doing this voice thing. I decided that's just going to be for fun. If I'm not having fun doing it,
then don't do it.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I agree. No.
No.
All right. Getting to know. It's Don McDonald.
Yeah. And by the way, if all of you are curious about any of my stuff, go to Yellowstone Forever. I did their video for they're the official nonprofit support group.
Beautiful
of
video,
Yellowstone,
too. And the voiceover's not bad.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's my best work, but it's a great.
Not
video.
Yellowstone, the TV show, by the way. Yellowstone the place.
National Park.
I know. I'm just telling you so people are
park,
clear. They might think you're doing something with Costner or something now.
God,
that's
all the places I have been in the world. And I've been several. I've been to New Zealand, which is stunningly beautiful. Iceland, stunningly beautiful. The fjords of Norway. I've been to Spain. I've been to Mexico. I've been all over North America. The most beautiful place still to me in the world, Yellowstone National Park.
It's pretty amazing.
It's spectacular.
I haven't been there in a long time because they're still mad at me for wrestling that buffalo. So I think my picture's down
Bison,
now.
sir.
Bison, buffalo, they're all the same to me. It looked the same. I didn't know.
They kicked you out.
A couple beers and they said, what are you doing?
Yeah. Anyway. Get off the top of that thing.
Not invited back.
Thank God it was a baby.
All kidding. I really want to get back to Yellowstone. Should do that sooner rather than later. Great place.
Hopefully. The problem, what's funny is I'm such an idiot because I didn't know if the Airstream would be, ready to go. I didn't, now that I know, so I went to book an RV slot in Yellowstone, in the park. Now, there are only a couple of campgrounds that can fit a 29-foot trailer. Most of them are a little more primitive. And they sold out. I mean, sold out. Can't get in.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Can't get in. So
and
I don't know what we're going to do.
Can you still get bison for dinner if you don't have to stay there, or how's that work?
At Wild Bill Cody's Cafe down the road.
Shoot them up.
Yep.
Swallow them down.
Yep. We just we take
I'm going to get the letters for that one. I'm taking back. I'm kidding. Oh well, too late.
Well, no, bison is good, and so are all of you. Thank you for being the good people that you are. And how do we know you're good people? Because you listen to us and our BS. I mean, it takes good people to do this.
Tolerant, patient,
understanding, kind.
Whole different
And so
level.
If you know anyone else who is, although it's unlikely, please let them know that we're here. We're easy to get. You go to your phone and we're there. We're in your pocket.
That sounds
but
worse.
Not taking your money.
Okay.
No.
Careful now.
We're not touching the money.
That is never going to clear compliance.
Put us in the other pocket.
Okay. Fair enough.
And tell your friends to try us out. And if they like crypto, bear in mind they're going to hate us. But otherwise, they might.
Hater going to hate. That's the way it goes.
Because there are two of us here pretty much all the time until Tom goes on his 3-year vacation to Africa. And what we do, well, we're just talking real money.
The opinions and views expressed on this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions. Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy. Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appella Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Please see Appella Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appella's fees and services. Appella Capital, LLC, DBA Appella Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appella does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. And the lawyers get richer.